The Coach Kevin McMillan Show is brought to you by BSN Sports. It's the Coach Kevin McMillan Show. I'm Chris Brinkley with Coach. UT Martin coming back from Pennsylvania over the Thanksgiving holiday. And Coach, you spent Thanksgiving on the road this year.
First time we've ever done that. And I don't know if we won one and lost one, but I don't know if we won two that I would really have enjoyed being away from my family and having the kids away from their families. And I don't know. We've tried it, and the schedule kind of has made us do that. But we're going to reevaluate here pretty quickly and see if we want to do that in the future. But it was nice to be with the kids and spend some time. But the Black Friday starting on Thursday, trying to get a bus to navigate traffic in Pittsburgh turned out to be a little more hectic than we thought.
Yeah.
But it was okay. It was all right.
And a lot of stuff closed on Thursday, so you really didn't have a lot of options.
No, I bet we called 50 restaurants trying to check and see who was going to be open, and we ended up with a Cracker Barrel, which for me was about to be heaven for Mama's pancake breakfast. So I thought I was about to have the best Thanksgiving ever.
But
they had a 2-hour wait. And I've never eaten at a restaurant for Thanksgiving, so I didn't know that was something that happened. Well, it does, because we've called the Golden Corral and they had an 1.5-hour wait and had a line out the door down the street to get in. And so it was kind of funny. So we sat on the bus and watched a little bit of a game and found a place that was open and snuck in there.
That was not a Golden Corral.
No.
This is the stuff you don't get.
No, Max and Irma's.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Have you? Well, somebody else had and said it was good, and it would have been really good, except the whole restaurant had 2 servers. So it was a little slow. We ended up being there longer than if we had waited for the Cracker Barrel. But it was good. I mean, we had a good time. Well,
it didn't affect your team on your first day. You played 2 games in 2 days. Your first matchup was with Winthrop. Coach, a good basketball team.
Winthrop, very good. They have a guard, McClanahan, who's right around Butler and Newsom in scoring. They've got a post kid that's really good that had 30 and 14 against us. Winthrop thinks they're going to be in the NCAA tournament this year. I mean, they're very, very strong, and it was a huge challenge. And we were down in the first half, came back in the second half, played really well, both offensively and defensively, and were able to knock them off.
You really had a fantastic second half offensively. You scored 47 points. You shoot over 50% from the field and almost 50% from three-point range. And in this game, balanced scoring with 5 players hitting double digits.
The key to that game was Asia Jones in the low post and Elizabeth Maskill in the high post, because they switched up zones against us. About every third or fourth possession, they'd be in a different zone. And we didn't handle that well against Gonzaga. We didn't handle it well against Missouri, and so we spent a little more time working on it. And then this game, those 2 kids did really, really well. And when they did that, it just kind of opened up things for everybody, and that's what kind of brought that big second half on.
It's interesting as the season progresses and you see things that show you have a weakness there and you like that, you improve on that.
A lot of times you play a Gonzaga or a Missouri, no matter what they do, they're going to beat you. And both of those teams tried to play man-to-man against us, and we handled it. And so they went zone, and I think our kids just thought we're playing a big school. It's got big kids, and that's what our problems are. And I was like, no, we need to get this zone offense stuff figured out, because I don't think our kids are getting it. And it was the way we played against Winthrop. We're not going to beat Gonzaga at Gonzaga. But it would have been about a 10 or 12 or 15-point game if we had played the same way in the zone against Winthrop. And we would have beaten Missouri if we had done that. So, like I told you, your mistakes are glaring when you play those kind of teams, and so you know what you have to do to fix them. And so we fixed some problems, but we haven't fixed them all.
Now, to me, just a novice basketball person, in a man-to-man, you've got the quickness of Heather and Jasmine and 2 guards that can get in the middle. But when you're presented with a zone, you've also got some decent three-point shooters.
Well, you would think that. I looked at our stats today, and we're shooting the worst from three-point range that we have since I've been here. And that's unusual is not even the right word for it.
Because you're getting open looks.
Yes, and we've got great three-point shooters. So I don't know. I mean, I have some ideas of why that's happening, and I'm going to try to fix those. And it is disappointing that, as a coach, you wish that you could figure everything out and then play your season. And you can't do that. You try this, it doesn't work, or this is not quite as good as it should be, so you have to tweak it and figure it out, and you end up doing things you didn't really think that you needed to do or you would have been doing in the first place.
I like that about you because you've said before, we just tried this, and it worked.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we will literally try anything to get us going, and a lot of times it's backwards stuff. You try, well, I think to work on our three-point shooting, we're going to, play 3 post players. Well, that shouldn't go together. Well, a lot of times what it causes the defense to have to do ends up giving you better shots than you were getting with all your three-point shooters out. I mean, it's weird stuff, and you just have to figure out each team's Rubik's Cube, so to speak, and figure out how to get each player to fit into what your team needs to do and the team doing what it needs to do to be the most successful.
Because we've talked about this before, and sometimes it is counterintuitive. The 5 that you have on the floor, you can mix and match that all day with the numbers, but you never really know until you see them out there what it's going to create.
Oh, Lord! You can look at a stat sheet and say, well, here we need to rebound better, so let's put the 4 best rebounders out there, and you put your 4 best rebounders out there, and you can get killed on the boards, and you can put your 5 worst rebounders out there, and you can hold your own. And it may have nothing to do with rebounding. It may be the defense that you were playing that caused it's like a domino effect, and you never know what combinations are the things that are going to click, and that drives you nuts. But it's nice to have different domino pieces that you can play with, and we have that right now. It's just a matter of us figuring out how to get it all going the right direction.
You beat Winthrop on the first day. The final score 79-74, and again scored 47 points in the second half. But then struggled the next day against Northern Kentucky. What happened there, Coach?
Well, a combination of things. It was kind of like Gonzaga in a sense. Gonzaga was the perfect storm for us. A lot of things that we weren't ready to handle hit us. Northern Kentucky was another little bit of a storm. We did some things well in the game. We got good shots. We took care of the ball. We didn't make any shots. And we didn't do a good job with their post players. And their post players combined for 47 points and 34 rebounds, which we shouldn't give up in 3 games.
And it's not that they were that big.
No, they were 5'10", 6 foot, and 6'1". So I mean that was the whole difference in the game. They're a guard-oriented team, and we let their post have 47 points and 34 rebounds. So you're not going to sit well with that. And there was a little bit of a lull, I think, effort-wise, that we hadn't seen. So like I told you, we got to keep coming back to that. We can't move on until that's fixed. And I don't think it's quite fixed, but it's again. They played well. We didn't play very well. Didn't shoot the ball very well. Had to play back to back. I don't know if our kids were quite ready for that, and they're still not used to. The young ones are not used to. I have to bring it every single day. In high school, there's probably only these kids are coming from teams where there was probably only 5 or 6 teams on their schedule that could beat them. So you're talking about 8 to 12 times during your season that we can lose. The other games we can play bad and we're still going to win. Division I NCAA basketball is not like that.
Yeah.
Every night out, if you play a C and another team plays an A, you could get beat no matter where they sit on the totem pole of the RPI or the league standings or whatever. And you see that with IPFW. Purdue Fort Wayne beat Michigan State, who's ranked the top 25 in the country. And Purdue Fort Wayne struggled with some OVC schools. So you're just it doesn't make sense, and but that's just the world you live in, and you got to hope everybody understands that.
Okay, Skyhawks got the win over Winthrop, lost to Northern Kentucky. Coming up, we'll visit with Coach Kevin McMillan and talk about the matchups this week on the Coach Kevin McMillan Show. At this time, we would like to thank our basketball corporate donors. State Farm, CARY Insurance, Surgical Associates of Martin, DYNAMIX, Parker Hannafin, Vans Institutional Pharmacy, Walmart. Back on the Coach Kevin McMillan Show. Coach, one of the things I like to talk about in our second segment has usually nothing to do with games coming up or games. Let's talk about your assistant coaches.
Okay.
We'll start with Coach Haskins, who's been with you ever since you've been here.
Yeah, we came in together, I guess it was 5 years ago or 4.5, or however you want to look at it. Coach Haskins recruited Angie DeSantis when I was at Westview, and that's the first time that I met him. And he was an assistant at Lambeth with the women, played at Lambeth, was an assistant with the women, and then took a job at Perry County coaching boys, and then was at Westview coaching boys, and then he's been with me for the 5 years since we've been here, and does a great job. The stability of our staff is something that's quite unique. You don't see staffs that are together 4 or 5 years, unless it's a Holly Warlick, Pat Summitt type situation. And and I think Gino's got one at Connecticut, and Tara Vanderveer's got one out at Stanford. But it's not a normal thing because people are always moving up the ladder and moving on. And I think Martin and UT Martin provides a little different. I don't want to say atmosphere, maybe dynamic, whatever you want to call it. It's more. This is a family-oriented place, West Tennessee, UT Martin, and so you tend to see a little more stability here. This is a great recruiting pitch. We need to use this for my recruits. So all of you recruits that are listening out there, pay attention. But it really does. Stacey Evans has played high school for me, and she has been working at UT Martin for ever since she graduated. So she's probably been here 12 years or so. Now she's been with us. Alicia Weatherly Dudley, which is still hard for me to say. She played AAU for me. Then when we got the job here, came on from, she was in Belmont School at nursing. And I think she hung up on her high school coach when he called her and said, "Do you want to go play basketball at UT Martin?" And I think because she thought he was messing with her. But she's been with us now for 5 years. I mean, she's been here since the beginning. And then Coach Russell and I worked together at Gibson County for 2 years. And then the first year I was here, he finished up down there because he was going to win another state championship, like you needed another one. And then he's been here ever since then. So our staff, it's phenomenal. If you look at the coaching record, Coach Russell's won more games than me and Coach Haskins combined. And he's done it with all kinds of different levels of talent. He's coached from junior high to high school. He's been the coach at the McDonald's All-American game. So he's done all kinds of different things. And so we've got a great group of people to be around. And it's just, I'm very, very fortunate that we have such a stable group. And most everybody in all the areas of our staff has been with us, for a long time. Our manager, Tabitha Causey's in her 4th year. You've been with us for the whole time. I mean,
I was just thinking, I knew every one of you before I knew you at UT Martin.
Right. Which is that a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's a good
thing.
Thing.
Well, again,
except for Alicia.
It's area and what we're in. Everybody talks about being families, and I just think that what we are here is more of what my definition of a family is. A lot of people, I have got definitions of family that are much different from mine, but I think what we've got is a core group of people here that all kind of believe in the same things, and we all kind of, our values line up.
Yeah, and the bottom line is, I think, to have a successful staff and team, you have to trust each other. And you guys have established such a relationship with each other with the longevity and the history that you've got that trust.
Or you wouldn't be together for 4 or 5 years. And I one of the things that I try to do, and I don't know if this is because I'm smart or I'm old or whatever, I don't know, is one of the things that I try to do is make everybody get whatever it is that they want. So my theory is, if everybody on your staff, if everybody in your program is getting what they want, then you're going to get what you want. But if you worry about what you want, then nobody's going to get what they want. And so, I try to go out of my way to make sure that the staff is where they need to be, where they're going with their careers, what they're doing with their off time, free time, make sure that they've got balance that I can help them with. and just hope that will translate into work ethic, wins, better production out of all of us, because we're not focused on the wrong things, which would be short run, win this game. I just feel like that's more important.
Seems to be working, Coach.
I guess. I keep doing it until something slaps us in the face and tells us we need to do it different.
As soon as this is over, I'll tell you all the things I want.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I think I get everything. Coach, let's talk about the week ahead. As we record this, you're headed to Alabama. You're going to take on the Southeastern Conference school. They're 3-4, and a good opponent for you to take on tomorrow night.
Well, they're a deceptive record right now. They lost their first 3 games of the year, and the 3 were Chattanooga, Nebraska, and Duke. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Chattanooga got votes top 25, Nebraska was in the top 15, and Duke is in the top 2. So that's
the top 2.
That's not fair to them. Plus, you've got a new coach and a new system, and everything's brand new to all of them. Well, since they've kind of got that out of their system and a few games under their belt, and they kind of know what they're doing. Well, they're 3-1, and they're playing pretty good, and they're very, very dangerous, and we're going to be on their floor. So it's a huge challenge for us. This will be the first time that we've played a BCS school on the road. We were at Gonzaga, but now it's a BCS school on the road. So here, I'm really getting tired of. Every single time we play, it's something that our young kids haven't seen before. And it's really hard. And I know we've said this 100 times, and we'll say it again, but anytime we're going to win in this stretch, we ought to be extremely excited about, because it's hard to do things that you don't know what you're getting into.
You're right.
Before you start.
And what I was going to say is that I can say, well, Coach, you've had a tough schedule the last couple of years. You're ready for this game. And you've been there, and Butler and Newsom have been there, but our freshmen haven't been there.
And basketball is 5 people. And
Right.
if you pick one person out there that's never done it before, then you've got a major challenge in front of you. Well, we're not sticking 1 out there. We're putting about 5 out there that have never done it before. And so, where we are right now in the season, I'm tremendously pleased with where we are right now in the season. Could we have been better off? Yes, we could have been. Would you have expected to be where we are right now? Probably not. I probably would have thought we'd have won this one, lost that one, a little bit different. But again, none of this really matters. What matters is that we learn from all these games as we go and get ready for the conference, which is where the whole season ends up. But this is a great test for us at a great time in the season.
Southeastern Conference member Alabama. And then, Coach, this weekend you have Illinois State on the schedule.
And Illinois State was a late addition to the schedule when we had a team drop us and we had to pick somebody up. And Illinois State's very similar to Alabama in that they have got a bunch of young kids. They're trying to rebuild from last year where they lost a couple. And it's taken them 3 or 4 games to kind of get their bearings and what they're doing. And what did they do in their last game out but beat Florida?
Yeah.
So here's another challenge. Now we're going to play a younger mid-major team on their floor that has just knocked off a BCS school, and how are they going to handle it? And a lot of tradition up there at Illinois State, and here's the next challenge that we haven't faced before. So, it's going to be a great week for us, but then probably the biggest thing is that we've got exams next week.
Yeah.
And we'd love to win 2 games here, love it, be great for us, but the biggest thing we want right now is this is probably the biggest exam period since I've been here. And the reason is this is the first time I've had 3 seniors. So we've got 3 of them. Well, they're all finishing up this Christmas and can graduate except for their internships, student teachings, which is all going to happen next semester. So they've kind of crammed some classes into this last semester. Butler's taking 23 hours, so she's got a lot of exams next week. Jazz is taking a full load, a little heavy. Megan's doing the same thing, finishing up a lot of her science stuff, which I can't even pronounce what she's taking half the time. So this is a huge week for those guys. Well, we've also got 7 people taking exams for the first time in their life. True. So this next 10 or 11 days for our program is probably the biggest 10 or 11 days of this year, take out the tournaments. Mm-hmm. So this is really a pivotal time for us, and I'm hoping that all the kids are focused in on getting basketball taken care of, but they're up to date and ready to roll in other classes. Yeah. And Stacey Evans takes care of all that for us and does an unbelievable job. So, but again, if you've never taken an exam before in college, you don't know what you're getting into. And that's, hopefully all of these games that we've had that they didn't know what they were getting into may have helped prepare them for their exams. I don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully
That's
next
the stuff,
week.
we never see that, but they are student athletes. And you and I both know if we had to go back and take exams next week, we'd be stressed out too.
We would be stressed out, but I would be a lot better at preparing for it than I was when I was a freshman.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
all right, good luck this week, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
I was thinking you were talking about the pivotal week. The entire month of December, I was looking at your schedule a little while ago. It's kind of got me scratching my head a little bit. I'm very excited about it because I want to see what you can do through this non-conference part of the season, but it's a challenge.
Well, it's a huge challenge, but it's also, I've kind of changed the word challenges most of the time now and talk about opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the opportunity that we've got in front of us right now. We're about to play a lot of BCS schools. We're about to play a lot of strong mid-majors that think that they're going to have a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. So this is a stretch here that could really define a great season for us, or it's a stretch that could say, look, you still got a lot of work to do. And it's just all we've got to do is keep focusing on where we're going. But it is a huge month, basically, if you look at the calendar.
You will definitely be prepared for OVC basketball after you get through this.
If we're not, I don't know what to do to get prepared, to be honest with you.
That's going to do it for the Coach Kevin McMillan Show. I'm Chris Brinkley. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for your support of UT Martin basketball.